Hi everyone, this is Kim with Abundant Life Tarot, and we are discussing crystals and using them as a healing modality and also why they work. So I figured we shouldn't get too far into the series without kind of discussing the mechanics, if you will, of why crystals work. So first, let's take a look at the body. So we all can acknowledge that there's the mind, body, and spirit of a body. And within the body, there's chakras. And so there's main chakras, although it seems to be that there's quite, many more than what we study, but there's like 7 main ones. And all of the chakras are aligned to various parts of our mind, body, physical body, and spirit. And so when those are out of whack or there's an imbalance, that could cause some dis-ease or disease, that can cause some arguments, that can eventually cause a lot of mental illness. It has, when an imbalance happens, it has the possibility or the potential to really wreak havoc on a person's life, which is why people seek out to have a balance back into their life. Some people go their whole lives probably never even knowing about this. And maybe they just kind of naturally do certain things that bring balance back to their chakras or back to their life, while others go their whole lives not knowing as well, but suffering when you don't have to suffer. So the reason I bring up the chakras is because when those are out of balance, you are looking for yourself and your higher self are looking for relief for your physical body and for your mental and emotional body. So the healing properties in a stone, for example, the reason why a crystal works is because inherently so, the crystal already has a balanced frequency, and each stone vibrates at its own frequency, and that frequency is known to treat certain things going on within the mind, body, and spirit, or within the chakras. And so the reason, and there's nothing changing this. This is just what it is with this particular stone. It has its healing properties and nothing can change. We are beings like many other mammals that can discern, and therefore we can cause our own pain and imbalances by the way that we think, by the way that we act, by the way that we do. And so we then cause our own imbalances. And the stone is just a stone. It's not shifting, it's not changing, it's not, 1 minute is this, 1 minute is that. It is what it is. And so when we find that these stones have these certain vibrational energies, energies that maybe we need a little more balance, it's nice to have that stone in our realm, around us. I wear my labradorite every day, and I also clear this labradorite every night by putting it on a slab of selenite. And we will talk more about that later in the series about cleansing and clearing or what have you. But I wear it because it's nice to have that energy to me. Some people are very sensitive to energetic shifts. So I am very sensitive to it. So I can almost feel when the shift is happening, when certain stones come into my sphere. So the stone is a fixed vibration, not fixed. I mean, we're all not really fixed, but it's not something that's like you are going to shift it. Now, that being said, when you get a stone that comes to you, it is important to set an intention for that stone. So, whatever that intention may be while you brought the stone into your being. Maybe you want more abundance in your life. Maybe you want more physical healing. Maybe you have a medical condition you want healed. You can program your stone by saying affirmations or mantras into your stone daily and programming it so that it programs the stone, which in turn programs you and programs your cells, your being. I mean, it really comes down to from your thoughts down to your cells, down to every part of your essence. And so the stone, yes, it's just a stone, but it comes from the earth. In most instances, some are actually made, in a laboratory, but many and most stones come from the earth. So it just like with many, like with the ground, it has its own grounding vibrational energy, and our bodies respond well to that, just as our spiritual bodies do. And I have to tell you, I have had some physical healing and have witnessed physical healing with crystals. Now, some may say, oh, well, that's just all in your mind. I don't really care if it's all in my mind. It worked in my mind and in my heart and my spirit. Therefore, it worked. I had a pulmonary embolism at the age of 31, which is not really, that's just something that just doesn't really happen. It's a blood clot to the lung. And so now I have stones that really are good for the blood and, good for the root and sacral chakras that seem to be where this blood clot started, and then it made its way up to my heart chakra. So it brought me profound healing when I started working with bloodstone, that is a stone, and when I started working with other stones to bring some healing to my chakras and to myself. And it did. I have not had another episode of that again, although I'm on blood thinners, but whatever. And my son was in a horrific auto accident as a pedestrian. And when he was in the hospital, and I was there pretty much all the time, round the clock, I would bring my old bag with my overnight bag it was heavier because I was bringing all my crystals and putting them on his feet. My son had 5 surgeries on both legs. And at times, initially we did not know if he was going to be able to walk. And these miraculous doctors, thank you God, helped heal my child. But I also know that the stones, he seemed to at least liked it when I would rub, his feet with the stones. And I felt like those stones brought profound healing for the both of us during that time. And so I've seen immense physical healing. I've lost weight. There are stones that are really good for helping to lose weight. And I keep stones all around me. And I know others who do too. And what's wonderful about stones is they have physical ailments that they can heal. They have mental ailments, and then they have spiritual ailments like, oh, I am, feeling disconnected from the world. What stone can I use to make me feel more connected? I could use rose quartz. That helps me with my self-love. So it not only has properties that it's healing physically, but it's also healing, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. I mean, and financially. There are even stones to help you with being more in the higher vibrational frequencies that's needed to be in an abundance way of thinking and being and receiving, and really being at that higher vibrational energy. There are healing stones for that too. So it really is amazing the gifts that, God or Gaia have given to us to use. And even just our own ability to say our own affirmations, to say our own mantras for our stones. So whenever we look at that stone, I look at it and say, oh, this is for my increased intuition. And so I look at the stone and I instantly, feel aligned to that. Nothing wrong with that. If it's just for that, hey, sign me up. But for me, I know that it's more than that. It is. And it is for many other people. And I don't know. I think that people should explore it. Don't rule it out. The medical doctors, the surgeons who treated my son did not laugh, at least in my face. If anything, they said, no, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. We do what we do and you do what you do. And together it felt like his healing was miraculous. Like my son was on the brink of death one moment, and then he went from being on the brink of death, being in ICU for almost a month, and not going from ICU to, say, some rehab facility, which is like what we thought he would have to do. Like he'd have to do like some inpatient rehab is what we thought. That didn't even happen. He was released to our home, where the physical therapists were able to come to our home and do physical therapy there. It was a miracle that I got to witness. And I'm telling you, like, if you are having something, this is not to say ever to turn away from your medical advice. And I'm no doctor, so that's why I'm not giving you any specific crystal prescriptions, if you will, because I'm not a doctor, and I'm not going to tell you to ignore your doctor's orders. If anything, you should start there and then incorporate some other modalities, but always consulting your doctor. I want to be very clear about that because, hey, doctors do save lives. Doctors saved my life a few times. I've had some near brushes with death, and hey, I am very grateful for modern medicine, and I think everyone should be. But with that being said, there are some conditions that could definitely aid in some crystal help. Where I have this little book, Heal Your Body by Louise Hay. Many of you probably have this book. It's published by Hay House. But it has some healing affirmations. So if you have a condition, it has the problem as the probable cause and the new thought pattern that you need to replace it. It is that new thought pattern that I use to program my stone. So for example, abdominal cramps. She has it in alphabetical order. The probable cause is fear stopping the process. And new thought pattern is, I trust the process of life. I am safe. I trust the process of life. I am safe. I trust the process of life. I am safe. And so usually I make my own affirmations now at this point in my journey, but sometimes I just don't feel like it. And sometimes I just want to know, like, okay, what will work? And these will work. This is the mind, body, and spirit going on. That connection, and the stone helps to bring it and to heal it too. It just vibrationally, it's everything. It is everything. I mean, she has aches, acne, addictions, all sorts of things. So that's a good place to start for your affirmations and mantras for your stones. This book is wonderful. Crystal Healing for beginners, and this is where I started my journey. So like I said, you can take a look at certain books to see what other medical remedies that specific crystals provide. And of course I have my Bibles, and they too talk about, you know, the different properties of each stone. So there you have that. Now, as far as, I want to make sure that we talk about, I think we talked about everything. So finally, how to bring the crystal energies into your everyday. Well, wearing it. I wear, you know, my agate stones here. I have them on, you know, on my wrists. Sometimes I wear copper here. I wear my labradorite. Look at this. This is my little, this is so cool. I love that. And you can just take this out, and I can pop out the stone and put in a new stone, put in a different stone. And while this stone is getting cleared, I could put in a new stone, or maybe wear a different protective piece, or maybe wear something like I'm feeling a little crummy, or I have a cold and there's a certain stone that helps with that and aids with that. I put this on and I wear it. I am a firm believer that what you believe is what it is in your world. So I believe in the power of crystal healing. I believe that these are gifts from our divine power, and I think that we should be using them, you know, because that's a tool that's here, that's accessible to all of us. You could probably go out to, you know, I don't know if you can go out to every park. Probably some of them say you cannot and should not go trying to mine crystals. I think you might get in trouble with certain state parks. But if it's not like a state park and you're just kind of like out there and you see some stones, or, you know, even petrified wood have some healing properties, because again, it's coming from the earth. We are, you know, the same matter. That's what makes us all connected. That's why, you know, that's why we are all connected, and the crystals are no different. Yes, it is just a thing, but it's yet and still a thing that is what it is. And it helps us to get back into alignment. So, so powerful. So yeah, I just wanted to get on and make sure that we talk about crystals as a healing modality. Before we move forward, because some people will probably be like, well, what's the whole point of even dealing with crystals? They're pretty, sure. And sometimes that's even healing, just looking at them. I'm a very visual person, so just looking at them on a table makes me happy. But also, no, there is something actually physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually going on there that needs to happen. And I love when stones find me. Sometimes stones will be like given to me that I wasn't expecting. Sometimes I'll be in a store and I'm like, oh, they sell crystals, and I see a stone I just have to have. I go with my intuition, and then I get that stone, or it's given to me, and then I later read like the properties or what the attributes are for that stone. And lo and behold, it is exactly what I need during that time in my life, like the healing medicine that it is. Again, a gift from spirit. It's amazing. When I have nerves, when I'm nervous and I'm about to go into a meeting and I'm not sure what that meeting's going to bring, I bring a stone that is known to have calming energies for me. And just rubbing my finger in the pocket and feeling it is all that I need. Again, may all be in my mind, may all be in all of our minds, but if it works, it works. And I feel like I'm an abundant, spirit here. I have an abundance of love and friendships and comfort. I'm happy, and I want others to be blessed and happy too. So crystals definitely was a turning point in my life when I started really digging crystals like I do and like I have been. Beautiful things started to manifest into my life. So I want to share that with you. So next up in the series, I have a whole different slew of videos coming up, but I wanted to move on to discussing protective stones and why we need protection, especially for those who are working with others, whether you're in customer service, believe it or not, whether you're dealing with the public, whether you're readers or, whatever you may do. If you're dealing with a great deal of people, and especially if you're like a tarot reader, why it's important to have protection and why crystals are a easier way of getting that. And then we will also probably have a video on grounding and using crystals for grounding, and why grounding is important in our everyday life. And then I'm going to explore also why do people couple up, or why do I couple up crystals and oracle and tarot and what that's about. So those are just some things that are in the works, just so you know. And I'll be sprinkling these videos amongst my other videos. So anyways, thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please, please, please drop them down in the comments box below. I want to hear from you all, any tips. Yeah, all of that good stuff. So much love to you. Many blessings. Bye.